lawsuits against people suspected of violating them. Oklahoma also has a so-called trigger ban on the books that would take effect if the landmark Roe v. Wade abortion decision is overturned. Sarah McCammon, NPR News.
The Biden administration is working with commercial planes that can fly to Switzerland to pick up supplies of baby formula. This remains in short supply in the U.S. This is NPR.
Good morning. I'm Jennifer Lynn at 7:04. This is WHYY's Morning Edition in Philadelphia. Vote counting continues in Pennsylvania's Republican primary for U.S. Senate. Dr. Lambert Oz and former hedge fund CEO David McCormick remain essentially tied, and there are tens of thousands of ballots left to tally. The race remains close enough to trigger Pennsylvania's automatic recount law. In Pennsylvania, Mid-State Congressman Scott Perry now has a Democratic opponent for the November election. For WHYY, Robbie Broad has more on the immigration lawyer turned Harrisburg City Council member who believes she can defeat the five-term incumbent.
Democrat Shemaine Daniels supports federal paid maternity leave, increasing funding for public schools, and a $15 minimum wage. She says raising her daughter during the COVID-19 pandemic, while working full-time as both a lawyer and Harrisburg council member, gives her a first-person understanding of the financial difficulties facing families.
I'm having this interview with you right now while I'm feeding my daughter because I'm still on a wait list for daycare. So family issues are going to be a big deal.
Daniels will challenge Republican incumbent Scott Perry for the seat that represents Dauphin County and parts of York and Cumberland County. Perry did not return a request for comment, but released a statement likening Daniels' positions to those of President Biden and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. He's been subpoenaed by the House January 6th Select Committee for his suspected role in attempting to overturn the 2020 election. The panel also uncovered texts Perry sent to a Trump White House official about ways to keep Trump in power.
Robbie Broad reporting. Penn Medicine is expanding telehealth services for people with substance use disorder. The program is a partnership with the Philadelphia Department of Public Health. Patients can get same-day medications that can help stop the use of opioids, as well as referrals for long-term care. They can also get prescriptions of Narcan and overdose-reversing medication. Here's peer recovery specialist Nicole O'Donnell.
People are able to come to the virtual appointments because transportation's not a barrier or scheduling isn't a barrier. When you're struggling, say you're in withdrawal, right? It's really hard to maneuver to get to a doctor's appointment.
There were an estimated 1,250 overdose deaths in Philadelphia last year. Now, 2 school districts in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, are having students and staff mask up again. Cheltenham School District and Lower Merion School District re-implement their mask requirements starting today. The CDC has moved Montgomery County into the high community level in its COVID-19 data tracker. Checking sports, we've been tracking the Phillies' progress, not doing so well. They lost to the Padres. The Padres shut them down yesterday 2-0 in a day game. The Phillies dust themselves off. They host the Dodgers beginning this evening. In our forecast, the heat begins today. We get up to 86, 72 tonight, 97 tomorrow. A heat advisory is in effect starting at 11 this morning, and we could have some thunderstorms pop up in the area. It's WHYY.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include Fidelity Wealth Management, working to help investors keep more of what they earn in tax-efficient strategies at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity.org, member NYSE.
This is Morning Edition from NPR News. I'm Rachel Martin.
And I'm Layla Falden. The U.S. Congress has approved an additional nearly $40 billion to Ukraine for weapons and humanitarian aid. That's nearly triple the amount of the last aid package. Meanwhile, in Ukraine, more than 1,000 soldiers have been evacuated from that steel plant in Mariupol as Russia consolidates its control of the city, which is strategically important because of its position on the coast. Ukrainian officials are also out with new numbers. They say tens of thousands of people were killed during months of bombardment and some of the fiercest fighting of this war. NPR's Joanna Kakissis is in Kyiv, Ukraine, and she says the standoff in the steel plant might not be fully over.
In addition to those who have surrendered, there could be even more soldiers still barricaded under the Azovstal plant. Officially, we don't know much because the Ukrainians have put a lid on all information about the plant since the soldiers started leaving it earlier this week.